It's Emil Guillermo, Emil Amok to you, coming at a strange time, early, because I just want to get this out now. I may be back later. You can check this later on patreon.com/slash Emil Amok, but you can find it in other places right now as we go live, because I'm just a little concerned about where the race is going. Everyone felt a little good about last night's speech at the Ellipse. Kamala Harris, she didn't hit it out of the park. She had it was better than a ground rule double. I think she got a triple. It looked good. It was really a reprise of the DNC speech, which wasn't bad. Closing the chapter, turning the page, all the things. She had another phrase that she likes. He's going to have an enemies list. I'm going to have a to-do list. There were things in that speech that when you add it all up, you say, wow, why is this race tied? Right? And it's true. And she mentioned January 6th far more than I thought she would. We thought, oh, well, she's just at the scene of the crime. That's enough. But no, she went into it, and we got the sense of it all. This was where it happened, January 6th, 2021, when Donald Trump led the troops and said, you got to fight like hell, and the insurrection happened. That's great. But then today we are, right back at, the campaign should have been saying, hey, we've got new polls coming in. The Harris campaign is moving ahead in Michigan and Wisconsin, like going beyond the margin of error, approaching that. They are still tied in Pennsylvania. And right now, that really is the best scenario for whoever wants to be president. Win the blue wall. Wisconsin, Michigan, Pennsylvania. Right now, they're tied in Pennsylvania. So if they're going to Pennsylvania, like multiple times, different parts of the state, that's why it's important for Harris and Trump. They've got to go cover Pennsylvania. Trump's got to deal with the Puerto Rican fallout. And we thought that was going to be like the impetus that would move the needle for Kamala Harris. And then plus with the speech at the, last night at the Ellipse, oh yeah, Kamala Harris looks like she is inching ahead. And then Joe Biden said something. And I'm sure it's Joe Biden just wanting to stay relevant. Although he did something last week that made him more than relevant, but no one cared, no one noticed. And that's when he apologized for the Curtis School, the school that took Indian American boys, put them in boarding schools to try to beat that Americanness in them. Heinous thing. But Joe Biden apologized, and you saw the coverage. The coverage was, at best, scant. And I'm sure that maybe Joe Biden's feeling like, I got to be, I'm president. I got to stay relevant. It's Kamala's game, and I'm sure he just wanted to weigh in. He should have refrained. I mean, this is a STFU moment for people other than Kamala Harris. If you're, on the official Democratic side, Lord knows Kamala Harris can do damage on her own. So let her do her thing. She did her thing last night. Like I said, not a home run. I'd say a triple. I was hoping for something new, but it was, this is a standard for speech making in America. Don't reinvent the wheel. There's a lot of cut and paste. There's a lot of, borrowing from old text. And, you know how she feels about repetition. I think repetition is fine. It means she's disciplined. Yes, I get it. You're going to get the message. But that's one of the reasons, people aren't sure. Are we getting the authentic Kamala? Are we getting the real deal? I think you are, but you're also getting You're getting her. And she doesn't, I mean, she still seems like she's holding back a little bit. This was supposed to be a let your hair hang down kind of moment, revealing her true self. And like I said, it was and it wasn't. I'll tell you some moments that got me in the speech. When she's talking about expanding Medicare, I mean, maybe this is because when people are at a certain age, they know that long-term care isn't, or not long-term care generally, but home care. It's not provided by Medicare. You have to, this is the outrageous thing. You have to deplete your savings and be poor. So you are covered by, so it's welfare essentially, which is crazy. And she's going to try to change that. If you have or are caring for parents, or you're older and you know that about this situation, that she hit a home run there. I mean, these are things that real people care about. And that was the point of her speech, that she wasn't just Kamala, trying to, score points. She's trying to make things better for the American public, for the regular people. And she talked about things that really impact every segment of people out there who are saying, yeah, well, who say, okay, but what are you doing for me? Okay, here, we're doing this. We're gonna find out about price gouging. We're gonna do all these things that matter for you, and you're gonna have a place at the table, and we're not going to ignore you. The thing that really got me is that she said, if you're going to be, I mean, if I disagree with you, I'm still going to talk to you. I'm still going to reach out. You're going to have a place at the table because I'm looking for consensus. She said that word again. And she said it again and again throughout the last couple of weeks. I heard it in another speech she gave. It's a key word because you do not hear the other person, Donald Trump, say consensus. He didn't say consensus. Consensus, working together, trying to come up with an answer, a solution. That's Kamala Harris. And she made a mistake last night. I'm going to say this because she did. She made a mistake. The one mistake she said, she talked about e pluribus unum, in many one. And she said, there it is on the dollar bill. If you look on the dollar bill, it's not on the dollar bill. That's all right. We forgive you, Kamala. She says, hey, I make mistakes. Yeah, she made a mistake. This is a standard trope for speeches when people want to talk about diversity. I first heard it back in the 80s. Robert Reich, the former Secretary of Labor, used that. It's a trope. You hold up a penny, and there on the penny, it says e pluribus unum, on that brown, shiny penny that everyone wants to ignore, everyone wants to abandon, but there's reason to keep the penny because it is right there, the phrase e pluribus unum, which is a phrase we must not forget, e pluribus unum, in many one. And that was really Kamala Harris's thing last night. We are one. We are together. We are united. We aren't divided. Division, that was the other guy. I'm united. I'm thinking about you. We are talking about a consensus, right? That was powerful, right? When she says it is time. I mean, this got me too, I have to admit. She said, her vision was those united in our pursuit of freedom and our belief in fairness and decency and our faith in a better future America. She's pleading to seek common ground and common sense solutions to make your life better. I mean, those things are unifying things. They're great things. I love that. And then I love toward the end, she says, America, for too long, we have been consumed with too much division, chaos, and mutual distrust. It doesn't have to be this way. We have to stop pointing fingers and start locking arms. Oh my God, the arm locking. Okay. That's why I said it was a triple. Could have been a ground rule double, but I thought locking arms, I get that. When do we lock arms? We lock arms when we see marches, civil rights marches, right? That's when we lock arms. I thought that was a great image. And then the image she closed on about ending the chapter, she used that at the DNC. So I'd heard it already. So yeah, I got that picture already, Kamala. Let's lock arms. I get that. That's a good physical one. And Arnold, see, like when I do this, that's like an Arnold Schwarzenegger move. And Arnold, to his credit, has come out in favor of Kamala and has endorsed her, Arnold Schwarzenegger. So anyway, it was a good speech, and it was, man, I know some people have called it, oh, the speech of her life, the best speech of she's given, and I know there are people out there who say, oh wow, now she's on the rise, and then Joe Biden came out with his 2 cents. He was addressing his comments to Tony Hinchcliffe, the comedian, at that Madison Square Garden rally of Donald Trump, where the comedian who called Puerto Rico a floating island of garbage. And Trump, or rather Biden, was just mad. And it sounds like he was calling Trump supporters garbage, when in fact he was calling one man, Tony Hinchcliffe, garbage. But this is what happens when you're in a fight and the people who are desperate are grasping for anything that you give them. And Joe Biden gave them the gift of the garbage confusion. Am I talking about Tony Hinchcliffe, or am I talking about all those people, all the MAGA people? So it harkens back to 2016. It's the new deplorables, and pollsters will tell you that that made a difference in the same way that Tony Hinchcliffe's joke offended Puerto Ricans, and many Puerto Ricans who had voted for Trump were saying, no, I'm not voting for Trump. I wish I hadn't voted for Trump. I'm telling all my friends I'm not going to vote for Trump, or they shouldn't vote for Trump. So maybe this is a self-canceling word slippage, but I don't know. It's kind of too early, but the Trump campaign, which is kind of in, well, they're grasping because they sense the polls are moving against them. They need something like this to get that emotional, hit that emotional chord, and people say, hey, is someone calling me garbage? Am I being called garbage? And that's unfortunately the way politics is played. It's not played on the balance sheet of this policy versus that policy. It's based on emotion and fear. Fear is an emotion. And when you thought things were kind of settled and people were moving in a certain direction, because these new polls, CNN reported some new polls, Wisconsin, Michigan, Harris seemed to be inching ahead beyond the margin. Pennsylvania is still tied, but now you just don't know. You don't know. I mean, I think that it's going to boil down to turnout, and what can turn out people more than an insult? Like, you're garbage. No, you're garbage. You're garbage. And this is really, I guess, the main point, that in our political discourse, we are like schoolyard children. We have not progressed beyond kindergarten. You're a fascist. I'm not a fascist. You're a fascist. Oh no, you're garbage. Oh, I'm not garbage. You're garbage. No, you're a dictator. No, I'm not a dictator. What is the discourse here? But we have descended into schoolyard games, and it's because, unfortunately, it's what America understands. it's what because it's not about, oh, well, on your 12-point plan of the economy. Look, if we wanted to do that, just go to the Nobel Prize laureates on the economy, and 16 of them say that Kamala Harris's plans are good and that Donald Trump's plans will lead to greater inflation. Just look at that and say, oh, got it. I know who I'm going to vote for just based on that. I mean, if we were really going to look at things like, look at that tax committee, that tax organization that looked at what the budget plans of Donald Trump would do to Social Security and Medicare, that they would take a hit and may not last beyond 6 years. I mean, these are real things to talk about, and these should be policy points that people say, oh, yeah, this is why I'm voting for X or Y. Instead, we are fighting over miscommunication. I mean, that's what it is. Do you really think Joe Biden is saying all the Trump supporters are garbage? No, he's not. He's saying Tony Hinchcliffe is, because he told the joke. But the Biden, well, the Trump folks are all in the lies, right? Because nothing you can say or nothing that comes out of Donald Trump's mouth is anything but the most positive thing for Trump, even if he has to lie to say it, right? Oh, this is the greatest. I'm the greatest. Oh, he's like the white Muhammad Ali. I'm the greatest. This is the greatest love fest. It's a love fest. Madison Square Garden was a love fest. Everyone loves me. Oh, in the history of America, it's never happened. In the history of America, it's never happened. It was great. It was love. Everyone loved. That's why my wife wouldn't kiss me on the lips. That's because she was kissing my feet earlier, and she just didn't want to mix the germs. She's a germaphobe. That Melania. I'm telling you, it should be. We should have reasoned discourse about policy, but we don't. We don't. Instead, it's you call me a dictator. No, I called you a fascist. I'm not a fascist. No, you're an F word. I'm not an F word. No, you're garbage. I'm not garbage. You're garbage. I don't get it. But this is what gets people to move to action, because you talk about all the things about what's going on right now, in people in all the different agendas of the candidates. And you say, oh, how can it be that they're tied? I do my column on ASAM News. ASAM News. Go to ASAM News. I think they're posting it now. But go there, and I said, look, Kamala has a to-do list. Donald Trump has a enemies list. Make your own list. Do the old Ben Franklin, right? The Ben Franklin cross, right? Pro, con, Kamala, the Donald. And, just do your convict or prosecutor, convict, trustworthy, liar. You just go on down the line. Make your own list. Forget about the enemies list. Forget about the to-do list. What is your perception about these candidates? And then put it down on a list, a little T list. Count them up and say, yeah, I guess I am going to vote for him, her, him. She likes trans. She's for everyone. He's transphobic. I mean, I saw those transphobic ads last night. Oh, he's for they, them, not for us. And then they had these older women saying, I've never voted Republican, but I feel safe. Donald Trump's going to make us safe. You think Donald Trump's going to make you safe? Well, then you're not the enemy from within. You're not like someone who's speaking out. And really, we shouldn't be so sensitive to these First Amendment things, because that's what it is. I mean, I want to include Tony Hinchcliffe on this and the President of the United States. It's all just First Amendment stuff. We have a right, but it's also, when you say things, it opens up debate. Now, the debate has been opened up unnecessarily, because if Joe Biden had shut up, we wouldn't be talking about, oh, who's garbage? You calling me garbage? You calling me garbage? And it's just we're debating nonsense, right? Because of that, I'm going to vote for Trump. Yeah. Well, what about you know him rounding up all your relatives who aren't documented? How about how about him cutting back on Social Security? How about him, giving billionaire tax breaks, but not giving you any tax break and giving you the really the end result of a tariff, which is about a $4,000 sales tax that you're going to have to pay. I mean, oh, is that what he called me garbage? Yeah, someone called me garbage. That's why I'm voting. I'm not voting for the tariff or the sale. Um, that's my number one issue. Garbage. Don't call me garbage, and maybe you'll have my vote. I mean, it doesn't make sense. Come on. This is American political discourse. It's disappointing. Disappointing, I tell you. And like I said, it would be a different time, a different thing if Kamala Harris had just, well, if not Kamala, Joe Biden, had just shut up, right? Joe Biden shuts up, everything's fine. But he speaks, and it wasn't even a misspeak. It's just he's misinterpreted, and the Trump folks are just trying to glom on and say, yeah, you called us garbage. I didn't call you garbage. You called us garbage. I didn't call you garbage. Oh, you call us garbage. No. Anyway, that's politics today. Doesn't that make you excited? Now you know it's going to be a cliffhanger till Tuesday. 6 days away. Hey, a reminder, get that swish in there. On Monday night, November 4th at the Marsh, 1062 Valencia Street, I'll be doing an excerpt of my new show, Emil Amok, the Amok Monologues. 69 is the working title. And come see it. Come see it. It's go to themarsh.org/Monday-night-marsh-stream. I know they could simplify that. But if you go there, once again, themarsh.org/Monday-night-marsh-stream. And that website will have all the links to tickets. You can buy the tickets. The proceeds go to the Marsh, a great place, an institution. They've helped me in my performance career. I mean, I wouldn't have performed if it weren't for the Marsh. Oh, there was a Berkeley rep too. But, the Marsh really was the place, right? In both San Francisco and Berkeley. But this is going to be at the Marsh in San Francisco, 7 o'clock, Monday, August 4th. And then I do a different show on August 18th. It'll be different. If the results are weird, it's going to be different. August 18th. So two nights at the Marsh. Go see it, please. Please. Like I said, proceeds go to the Marsh. I'm just prepping the show that I'll do next year at the fringe festivals and, around Emil Amok 69. I think it could be a good show. I talk about being a vegan trans dad. I do an excerpt. I do the vegan trans dad excerpt. So there it is. Check it out. I think it's good. I think it's good. It's just we're workshopping it. I think you'll like it. So themarsh.org/Monday-night-marsh-stream. Tickets there, Monday, 7 p.m. 1062 Valencia Street, San Francisco. All right. As always, you can check out the column that I wrote, asam.com. Also on Patreon. It's on patreon.com/Emil Amok. I'll put this show on Patreon later, a fuller version of this show, or this show plus another show later, because so much is happening in these final days. So good to see. I'll even put on a laughter yoga thing, because I'm a laughter yogi. Okay, gotta run, gotta fly. My friends, thank you very much. Thank you very much for being here. A little surprise, Emil Nooner, because I can. And so, as I wish for me, I wish for you. May you be safe. May you be happy. May you be healthy. And may you live with ease. Emil Guillermo here. Till next time. Mahal